Welcome to High on Cars. My name is Niels, I'm 44 years old. I've been making Danish YouTube for 8 years with cars. Today we have a really special edition. It's made in English because we have Matthias inside here. He is an AMG specialist and he knows everything about the AMG ONE. I know nothing about the AMG ONE yet, except from that it's freaking expensive and it's with the Formula 1 engine. Let's go inside, let's take a look at the car, let's have a talk with Matthias. Welcome to High on Cars. So Matthias, welcome to Denmark first of all.
Thank you very much. It's the first
Your
time for me.
first time in Denmark.
Absolutely.
And you just told me before, you've been in how many countries? With?
I think it's now 54 countries in total, but I never made it over the border to Denmark.
And you live 5 hours from here. This,
let's say 6, yeah. with a quick car.
Yeah. In this car, 2 hours.
Respecting the rules, even less, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got an invitation to come out here to talk about this car. And to be honest, a little bit on purpose, I don't know too much about the car. But you know a lot.
I guess so. You'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. This is the AMG ONE. And when this is brand new.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when did the production started on the car?
Well, basically, if I start off with a presentation, we're talking about a car which has now been, all the first photos have been released in 2017 approximately. So our customers knew for a long time. So our very special customers, like one of the lucky people who have gotten this car, this special
lucky
car.
Lucky people, I just need to understand that.
Yes.
It's not like everybody can just walk in and say,
we knew from the start that it's going to be a limited number of cars we're going to produce. And the idea, to come back to your question, was actually, we're going to build a car, not a supercar, not a hypercar. We're going to build the one. The one car which is carrying the full drivetrain of a Formula 1 car. And that was the idea.
Crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll come back to that later, I guess, because
definitely. But we have enough time.
It's like crazy things going on to get this car road legal and to get license plates on it. So 275 units were to be produced, and you asked, like, when did the production start? Well, it's a couple of years back, but you can imagine this is a manufacturer car. So this is hand-built, like from the pros which are building carbon fiber, which are building the full drivetrain from a Formula 1 car, which is basically HPP. So high-performance powertrains, the guys which are building the Formula 1 cars for Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, for example. And that is exactly what you get when you get one of those cars. So not even all the cars are yet completed, and not all the cars are delivered. So we're really still in an early stage of these cars which are hitting the road right now.
Okay. We need to see it because I've not seen it yet. Can we take this off?
It's the first time for me to see this very special car as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to help me?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. Watch out.
Wow.
So that's the scoop. Now we take this. Right, Niels, what do you think?
Are you serious when you're saying that this car can go on the roads?
Yes.
Basically everywhere in the world?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Like if we talk about the idea in the beginning was to have a Formula 1 car for the road. So what that means, it came along with lots of challenges, I would say, because what do you expect a hypercar when you think about the engine? What do you think? How many cylinders? How much capacity? What do you guess?
V8, V10 and V12.
Yeah, of course. That's what we're talking. That's what we know from the past, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you it's a V6.
It's a V6.
How much capacity? What do you guess?
Usually I would say it should be a 3 liter.
3 liter would be something which you find in other supercars and so on as well. Turbocharged, supercharged maybe.
Yeah.
Well, this one comes along with 1.6 liter of capacity.
Seriously?
Yes.
That must be like the smallest 1.6 V6 ever made.
Yeah.
The pistons must be like this.
Exactly. They're very tiny, so they're very active, reactive when it comes to revs, for course, because it's a Formula 1 car. So you know the noise they make, they rev up very high, which is one of the challenges in a road car.
Yeah.
Noise is one thing.
But also pollution.
Pollution as well, of course, like you need to get it registered somehow. You need to go through all the homologation process like any other car which is road legal.
Particular filters, etc.
This car has got 6 catalytic converters.
No, seriously?
Made from ceramic, titanium exhaust system and all that stuff, which comes along in a Formula 1 car, but not the Cat.
Start with 2, nah. Let's try with 4, nah.
Let's take 6, yeah. So coming from that, if we're just talking about the technology and getting this car road legal and making it road legal all over the world, you know, there's different rules in different countries, of course. You're from Denmark, you spoiled something rules. Already, you have some rules.
We have a lot of rules. I'll come back to that.
Yeah, okay. So sticking to the engine itself, just imagine a standard Formula 1 car would have an idle revs of 3,500–4,000 RPM. So that is pretty much where the rev limiter kicks in a diesel road car, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what we're talking about when it comes to noise and the pollution, the emissions, of course.
Yeah.
So it would be easy to say, okay, let's bring those down to, let's say, 1,000, 1,200 RPM easily, so we've got less emissions.
Yeah.
But how do you do that in a racing engine which is not designed for that?
No, it will never stay down there. Then it will go off.
Absolutely, right. So we wouldn't deal with an engine which would be working properly. So we needed to cut the emission as well as the higher top. So it's like, let's say 11,000 RPM maximum, while Formula 1 cars go a little bit higher still. So we could have even more power. But what we need to do at the lower end is bring the revs down. So what we did, in these Formula 1 engines, you've got 2 units, which are called MGUs. So that's motor generator unit. That is the one which is called heat. That is the turbocharger, which is electrified. And there's the kinetic unit, which is like in our road legal cars at AMG or hybrid cars in general, you would have an integrated starter generator pretty much in between the gearbox and the motor. So that could start the car, that could be used as a generator, but at the same time, you can lower the speed of the engine, the combustion engine, right? So the engineers thought like, okay, we've got a solution right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the electric motor to calm down the engine to, let's say, 1,000 RPM. But that generates heat, of course. That generates energy, which is coming through the electric motor. It needs to go somewhere. And I said like, okay, that's easy. We've got a battery which is like approximately 8 kilowatt hours, which is fine for a little bit of range of electric driving. But at the same time, we can then get the power somewhere. So the thing which comes along with the next challenge is like, okay, we got a solution to that. We got the revs down. But the use case for one of the customers who got one of these cars is they keep it in their collection. Since it's a hybrid car, you put it on the cable. So once you want to start it, the battery is 100% full. So if you want to start the combustion engine, where does the energy go? It cannot go to the battery because it's full, right? So what are we going to do about it? Because if you want to register the car, go through the homologation, you need to go onto the dyno. So you have to simulate what a customer with these cars would do throughout the cycle. So they thought like, okay, what can we do to get better emissions? Well, we've got 6 of these catalytic converters. And they work even better if they've got temperatures around 500 degrees. So we start to heat up these catalytic converters, take away up to 5% of the battery state of charge, and then you can finally start the combustion engine. That is an engineering masterpiece.
So it's like an old diesel, basically. You need to heat before you put it on.
Not the engine.
No, I know.
But basically, I know what you're thinking. With the diesel back in the days, you would turn the key, wait until this funny sign on the dashboard is gone, and then you would start. Well, you're in the quickest car in the world. You don't want to wait, right?
No.
You're a customer. You're good to go. You want to press the button and go straight.
Everybody's waiting. You're in Monaco.
So you want to move. You don't want to stand there for up to 2 minutes and wait until the cats are heated up. So you don't need to wait.
You just go on the battery.
It's a hybrid car, right? You've got the battery. You've got a range of, let's say, a little bit like 15, 17 kilometers, maybe if you do it right. So you can move that car. You can drive fully electric and impress people which are all around waiting for the engine to start. You just take off silently. And if you want to, then it's going to tell you not only that you're ready to drive, but it's going to tell you when you can put it on race mode, for example, then start the combustion engine. Can promise you're going to hear that today. You guys are going to hear it.
So we have a 1.6 V6 engine. We have hybrid function. So totally, it makes how much power?
Well, totally. It is not just the V6 engine with the 2 electric parts which I added. It is as well 2 electric motors which go to the front, which is another 120 kilowatts, or let's say a little bit, or it's 163 horsepower, if you like horsepower better. So that would give you more than 300 horsepower at the front axle. So it's like a front wheel drive, like a TCR race car pretty much, when we talk about the power, which is the front wheel drive. Then you add the compounds of the rear engine with the electric compounds. So just the engine, the combustion engine, is giving you an output of almost 600 horsepower, 576 to be exact. And you've got another 400 plus 80, which are added by the electric compounds. So we're talking about a full system output of 1,063 horsepower.
And the weight of this car is?
What do you guess? It's a supercar, it's a hypercar if you want so.
But
so weight needs to be down. What do you guess?
Batteries.
Exactly, you've got the batteries.
Yeah, so I'll just take I'll go with the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, go for it.
1,800 kilograms.
We can beat that.
Yeah?
Yeah, but lower.
Seriously?
Yes.
That is impressive.
I mean, you have all the knowledge, so you know all the compounds we just talked about, all that power, all that battery, all the cables, which is copper cables, of course, which adding some weight. Then, of course, Mercedes-Benz, everything you know from Mercedes-Benz, they are known as the most safe cars in the world.
Yeah.
So that's what you want. You want some airbags in that car, you want all the crash tests and so on, and you want doors which you can open and easily get in. If you just want to go to the bakery and get some bread, you can use that car for that. So that all adds weight, of course, but usability for that car as well. So that was the thing which we thought would be the best concept for a hypercar. So coming back to your number, well, a little bit less. It's 1,695 kilos.
I wasn't that too far away.
No, that's right.
Yeah. Could have been worse.
I guess if the two of us get into the car, we'll beat that, right?
Me alone.
Absolutely,
Okay.
So it's still, if we talk about hypercars, you could imagine like, okay, there might be some other cars out there which have lower weight. But if we talk about what you can do with this car, with an all-wheel drive, like add an all-wheel drive to any kind of supercar or hypercar, you need a drivetrain and all that stuff. That always adds weight. So 1695 is something which is perfect for the concept which we thought about.
So, because I read one thing about it, it's 0 to 200, 7.0.
Yes.
That is crazy numbers.
It is less than 3 seconds from 0 to 100 from a standstill, which is impressive and always limited by the tires and the grip you can find, right?
That's how it is.
You can add like 2,000 horsepower to a car.
It's still
the limit
really,
is
really
always
difficult.
The tires, right? So you need to get it on the floor. So what you mentioned with a 200, which is 7 seconds, which is a little bit more than double only. And then you go to 300, which is 15 seconds. And it's just getting stopped by a limiter, to be honest, to 352 kilometers per hour.
Limited.
Yes.
So
if we want to go to the German Autobahn, where we have no limitations at some points, you can easily do that.
How
it takes
well
15
does it
seconds.
drive at high speeds, this car? Have you tested at high speeds?
Yes, of course.
Full speed?
Yeah, full speed as well.
Nice.
Yeah, it is, of course, it's a handful because it comes along with lots of responsibility for yourself, with the car, with the preparation, with everyone who wants to do that. I mean,
everybody wants to come home.
Yeah, exactly. You want to come home, you have to think of everyone else who's on the road if you want to test them on open roads. Of course, in the majority of the countries you cannot do that, or you're not allowed to do that. In Germany you could, but still, of course, we would recommend doing this like on the testing facilities we have in Germany, for example, or racetracks if you want to. But if you want to take it to a racetrack, there's another mode which we can talk about later, where you don't hit the top speed. Because on a racetrack it's more about downforce.
Exactly.
So that gives you more drag. But pays into the lap times you want to do, right? So that's better on the brakes, cornering, accelerating, and so on.
Of course.
So we've got two different phases pretty much for this car, depending what you want to do.
Today's episode is powered by Engel Workwear. Go to engel.eu to get your workwear. Matthias, I need to explain you a little bit about our beautiful country. Denmark have difficulties about cars. So start up. We can start with luxury tax on cars. The price for this car is around how much?
Let's say 3 million.
3 million
approximately,
euro. That's 22.5 million Danish kroner. You need to multiply with 7.5 here in Denmark, If you want this car on Danish number plates, you will have to add 150% in luxury tax.
So you add 150, 1.5
on your
price
3 million euro.
You've paid already.
Whoa. If one Danish number plates on the car.
That is a very special car.
But we have been really lucky. So we went from 180 to 150 4 years ago.
So it went down. Which is
so when I was in Germany, I used to drive, like say, E63 AMG from 2018. I have a car like that. And if I tell you that this car, new price from that car here in Denmark is 500,000 euro. It is.
Wow.
So that's one thing.
Impressive.
That's one start.
Really impressive, yeah.
In 2021, there came a new law here in Denmark. It's like a traffic law. It's made for how you can act in the traffic. So let's say one night you come from Münster, you want to go up and visit me, we should have a coffee. You go on the Autobahn up to Flensburg, you have free. Do what you want. You go with 210, 20. You know how it is.
Like traveling speed in Germany. Yeah.
Exactly. You cross the Danish border. You'll have a limit at 130, but you're still like, there's nobody here, you know. So you do 220, 210. Let's say that.
I would never do. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but this is a theoretic thing.
Yeah.
The police will stop you, and here now it goes crazy. This is not a joke. This is serious. They will take your car. You will not have it back. That's it. It's away. Doesn't matter if it's your car, the bank's car, Mercedes' car,
whatever.
Whatever. It's away.
What's happening with the car then?
They sell it, take the money.
Okay.
Let's say, okay, now I'm in the car. It's me who's driving because I have a Danish driver's license. It's away for 3 years. Away. And I will go to jail.
So 200 kilometers approximately is double the speed you are allowed to do, so you go to jail for that.
So the rules is, we have on the mostly on the highways you can go 110 or 130. If you go more than 200 there, it's away. But if you double up the speed, let's say you go on a road out here, let's say this is a 70 zone. Okay, if you do 141 there, it's the same.
It's gone. Yeah.
Double up the speed.
Yeah.
It's away. It goes from 50 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a place where you can do 30. It's not happening if you go 61 there.
Yeah.
You need to go a 100. Another thing is if you drive, let's say I've been a professional drifter for many years. I've been drifting in Poland for many years. So I'm quite okay with that going sideways. It's quite natural for me. Let's say we're in a roundabout. In my E63, maybe I put it in the drift mode.
It's like an invitation, right?
Could be. But if I do it, the police will see it.
They will clap their hands? No,
they'll do the same.
So they put you in jail?
I will walk home.
Yeah.
Minimum of 60 days in jail without any driver's license for 3 years, and the car is gone.
Wow.
So this is for you
rules.
And probably as well for some guys who want to visit Denmark. Welcome to Denmark. We have a beautiful car culture. We definitely do.
Yeah.
We have so many car shows, meetups, and all.
Yeah.
You know, we have a beautiful car culture in Denmark. Despite from all that what I just told you. But
so how do you cope with it? You said you were a drifter, so you took cars somewhere else. You drifted on racetracks, I suppose, or is that like with car meetings?
My drifters was professional race cars. So I've never ever done it. For me, it's not a problem. And on the highways, I just
Why
don't
should you do that? Yeah.
It's not for me. But the thing is, you know, people just need to know it because we have a case about one Norwegian guy who bought a Lamborghini in Hamburg. Drive on the way. Then when you want to go to Norway, you need to cross Denmark, and he did 217 kilometers per hour in the north of Jylland, where you are now. The police saw him. The Lambo is gone. And he cannot go into Denmark for 5 or 6 years.
Rules are rules.
But he didn't know. That's not okay to do 217. Definitely, it's not okay.
If you can afford a Lamborghini, you can afford a smartphone, don't you?
He was a car dealer. It was sold.
Oh, okay. Oh. Well, he's got another problem then,
Yeah, definitely. But you got, so for me, this is just about laws are laws. That's how it is. But you should know it. Maybe somebody out there should know it as well.
Like the first thing I always do if I cross the border, before I cross the border, is like check out if there's any tolls I have to apply for. If there's a sticker I need to put in there.
Definitely. You go to Austria.
How much speed I can go. Yeah, exactly. All that stuff.
Switzerland, all that.
Yeah, exactly. I travel a lot.
But this rule is not so easy to know.
True. I mean, if you apply to the rules, you don't need to know what the consequences are, right? If you don't.
Definitely,
That's all right,
But this was just like an info about how the cars. But the most crazy thing is try to imagine putting number plates on this car, adding 150% in luxury tax.
That is really, it is crazy money, definitely. And it gives you even more value and even more respect for any of those cars, right?
Yeah, definitely. But that's why a car like this in Denmark, it probably will. Unfortunately, would I say, will never have number plates on it. Because this one will be in a car collection. Does anybody who bought these cars, does anybody actually drive in them?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Because that must be important for you, I guess, right?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, we've... like when we talk about how we set this car up, there was a concept, and there was actually a concept car we showed to the customers before there was a press presentation. So nobody really knew about this car coming, a Formula One car for the road. But we invited our potential customers to showcase this car, to say like, how do you like it?
Yeah.
Would you like that concept? Are you interested to buying one?
Yeah.
And why we got online, I would say, like that was in 2017 at the Frankfurt Auto Show, where we introduced that car for the first time. We were 7 times oversold pretty much.
Oh.
So for the 275 units, which we had defined already, we had 7 times as much people wanting one, willing to spend that money on that car with all the taxes they were aware of in all the different countries that we could produce. So for us, it was a limited number of 275 cars.
But why didn't you just multiply that production number with?
Well, it comes along with a price tag, of course, this car. But basically, if you want to produce even more of that, you need to consider that there's more cost while you build that car.
Okay.
It's a very special car. We're talking about a Formula One drivetrain. So this is not produced in a factory like by machines. This is like really handmade.
Yeah.
And of course, for a customer who's one of the collectors, like you mentioned before I come back to your question, they wanted an exclusive car.
Yeah.
So if you say like, okay, we'll not have a limitation, we'll see how many customers we will find who buys one. They say like, okay, am I going to be one of 1,000?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe I don't need it, right?
Makes sense.
We kept these 275 units for several reasons, and that's 2 of them, of course. And coming back to your question about the collectors and the ones who are driving it, well, you're coming from racing, so you know the racing background. It's not just buying a car, owning the car, just storing it somewhere. It is, especially if you race it, if you drift it, there's the typical stuff like the brakes and the tires you need to replace, you have to do a service and so on. Yeah. You have to look through the cars. There might be things while you're using it, or really using it in a racetracks even more, which might get damaged for some reason. So you need to replace it. So the running costs of these cars, like race cars, they would be calculated on a kilometer, for example.
Yeah.
So if you're a collector, you could say, okay, I'm going to keep this car on a standstill and just leave it there for 10 years and then see how the value goes up and then sell it again.
Yeah.
But it's the most sophisticated machine you can buy. It's the most, don't get me wrong, it's the most complex road car you can buy with all the technology. So it's not just a fascination looking at it or driving it, it's a fascination of the technology. Yeah. And that technology needs extra servicing, needs people who are behind it. Yeah. So one of those guys I've met in a Falterbach who went to a training to understand how these cars work. Yeah. So servicing, just a sheer service, is not any other than maintenance. So like it's an oil service or replacing the brakes and tires, was a workshop which took 2 weeks. And it's just 60 people all around the world, not more, who are the ones to work on these cars for a service.
And you sold this model is sold to how many countries?
Various kind of countries. I cannot tell you all the numbers, but pretty much all around the world.
Okay, so there's maybe one. There is one for every country. Is somebody in Denmark?
In theory.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Let's take the US, for example. When we talked about rules, for example, and getting cars on the road, we talk about this very special car. In the US, you cannot get it road registered. So there's no license plate in the US for technical reasons, because they do a homologation in a kind of way where this engine with these high revs wouldn't fit in. They don't have a way to certify that car. Okay. So it's not the thing about us. But getting the revs down, for example, would mean we get less power. Yeah. So what about the customer in the US? He gets a car which has less power in the car. He doesn't want that, right?
No.
So our customer said like, we don't care, we want it anyway, right? Yeah. So they wanted the car. Let's talk about Australia, for example. Australia, in the market, if you want to register a new car for the first time, pretty much, it needs to be a right-hand drive car.
Yeah.
So these are only built as left-hand drive cars.
That was
so you wouldn't get one. But our Australian customers still said, yeah, we want one. Yeah. Because we know people who own racetracks, so we got to go there, have some fun with those cars, or collect them, right? So there's like, in any kind of countries, like different kind of rules. So that would be something in headquarters, which they had to consider setting this car up to make everyone happy. Yeah. And sometimes it comes with a compromise, but sometimes our customers are happy to have one. And be lucky, as I said, to have one, because not everyone could get one, because that was just 275 cars. Yeah. So talking about the maintenance again, you just store it for yourself and you're just a collector, you love the cars, you've got plenty of cars, you love to invite your friends and just sit there with a glass of wine and just enjoy looking at it. That's perfect. But still, any kind of car needs to get a service, right?
That's how it is.
So we, as headquarters in our hubs, we need to see this car like every year, every 5,000 kilometers. And there's various things we're going to check then, which is like, of course, the fluids, the liquids, the cooling system for the battery, which is really, yeah, it's a Formula One system.
Yeah.
So it's direct cooling for the battery cells, which is like, we do have that in the e-performance cars. So C63, GT63, for example, with 800 plus horsepower, 843 to be exact. That comes with Formula One technology. So it needs some special maintenance or special understanding and respect for the technology. Yeah. If you want to run this car, like the opposite of a collector who just says like, I want to keep it, you're going to use it as a daily, and you can actually. You can go shopping. Well, it's not too much you can shop because it doesn't even have a glove compartment.
You go to the bakery.
You can buy some flowers for your wife, for example. Yeah. Like every Sunday morning you take this car.
Yeah.
So that would be a use case for you, but as well, you can hit the racetrack. So we would even provide you slicks with that car from factory if you want to. So it's meant to be on the racetrack because it was built for it, right? But that, of course, comes with maintenance costs.
Yeah.
That, of course, comes with, like, if you do lots of kilometers. Well, you can imagine, for this car, for example, if you do 50,000 kilometers, we invite you very friendly to come to see the headquarters with your car again, because we will do a full service, which is pretty much opening up the engine and all the parts which come along with it, to a revision of a Formula One engine.
Yeah.
You can imagine this car costs 3 million euros approximately. Yes. You can imagine how much percent goes into the drivetrain on it. So you can imagine what this 50,000 kilometer service costs without saying a number. But that, talking about collectors, talking about all the hypercars we know from the past, like from the 80s or 90s, if you find them advertised, you see those cars with like, there's an SLR standing right here with 0 kilometers, for example. Yeah. So that would be collectors' cars. You don't see cars too often which have like more than 10, 15,000 kilometers maybe on the clock.
Yeah. So Matthias, to be honest, I've been in one hypercar in my life. That was the Ferrari SF90, which I didn't fit perfectly inside. What would you think about this car with 2 meters of Nils? Is it possible, or?
Well, we could just find out.
Should we try?
Shall we?
Is it possible?
Of course. I've got the key in my pocket.
Oh yeah, you have the power.
Yes. So we've got the car right here.
Yeah.
I've got the key right here. Now it's unlocked.
Yeah.
And now it's the first time you can open the door of a 3 million hypercar. Let's press this one, exactly.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
See down here where the airflow comes through for the aerodynamics. It's a beautiful view, huh?
I will do.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep.
Before you get in, let me give you...
Of many reasons, it's a good idea. Yeah. I have really, really big feet.
How big are your feet? What's the size?
Size 50.
Size 50?
Yeah.
Size 50?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got 45. I thought it was big. Right. So we're standing right here, and if we talk about a hypercar, you know, cars like an Aston Martin Valkyrie, for example, or other hypercars, which have the same approach, saying it's a hypercar, but the approach we have got is a Formula One car for the road, as we discussed in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So if you did you get in touch with a Aston Martin Valkyrie, for example?
I never tried to sit in it, no.
Okay,
I've seen it, that's it. Yeah.
They've built a fantastic car, fantastic components with it, but it's not very practical if you really want to use it. Because what you actually do is, they don't have a door like we have, they have more like a window which opens up with a little bit of paint coming with it. So then afterwards you take your shoes off, exactly, because if you want to get in, the first thing you do is take the steering wheel off, put it aside. Then you step on the beautiful leather with the stitching with your feet, because there's nothing else where you could go.
I see.
And then try to squeeze into that car.
Yeah.
To find out, you put your steering wheel on and then find out, oh, I'm missing my shoes. Oh, they're right there. Oh, I can't grab them.
Or I left my shoes.
Exactly. Or you left your shoes. So our approach was really to say, okay, we got people who are wanting to drive that car.
Yeah.
So there's one of our customers, it's a she. She's very famous, I'm not going to mention the name. No. And I had the chance to hand over the car to her. And she was coming in high heels. And she said, Matthias, do you think I can drive it with that one? And so like, if you want to try, of course.
It's your car.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing is, you can open a door and you'll find out, you said you're 2 meters high, tall.
Yeah.
You can get into that car.
It's possible.
Yes. We'll see how you fit, because of course, body measurements,
of course,
it's always a little bit different.
Yeah. But it's still possible. Yeah. Because for me, it looks possible from here. So
first thing, exactly, maybe come down with, exactly, I'll bump into it. Then try to get the first leg into it. I'll just come on to you. That looks good. So Niels, you're in.
I'm in.
How does it feel?
It's better than any other hyper Formula One-ish cars I've ever been inside.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it with the camera, but I can see your eyes.
I'm not gonna go to Münster with you right now to have a coffee. But
I'll invite you on a racetrack. Does your hair touch the roof?
Yeah.
A little bit or much?
But I have a high hair today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the same
you know how it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it just touches. It's not my head.
Yeah.
It's just my hair.
So it's comfortable.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
This is really crazy.
We made this car.
This is the most expensive car I've ever been inside in my life.
There we are. Sitting in the middle of carbon fiber and displays as you know them from other Mercedes-Benz models, but...
Yeah, that's what I love. I love that we have a display, which I know.
Yeah.
We have this.
Yeah, the levers are the same.
Yeah.
The logics behind that is the same. The starter button is the same.
It's the same.
There, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a totally different steering wheel, which you can just...
It even has the boom as the
sound. Of course. When you're driving full electric, that is a good idea to have it.
Yeah.
Once we start the engine, which we're going to do later on.
Yeah, then you don't need any boom as
There's no use in that. No. So it comes with some earplugs for yourself.
Yeah.
You can understand each other. So right here, we've got the same lever as you know, where you can adjust the steering wheel a bit like this, if you want it further away from you. So this is the deepest position, or get it closer to yourself.
Yeah, because then I could do it like this.
Yeah. And you're a race driver, right?
Exactly.
So you're always sitting like this.
I know that you are really a race driver.
90 degrees in your arms, it's perfect. Yeah. Same goes about the pedals. Since you cannot move the seat, which is exactly to be designed like that, to do that job, you can adjust the length of your legs actually through the pedals.
Yeah.
So while you put your foot on the brake, you have this lever right there. If you just pull it and pull it up to yourself,
How much? Like this? More?
Yeah, all the way up.
I'm so afraid to do it more.
Yeah,
Is that
work? Yeah, just pull it up, then it comes to your direction. And if you want to move it, you put down your heel down there.
Yeah.
And press with the heel. So not on the brake exactly, but press with the heel exactly.
Wow.
So then you can go all the way. You heard that noise? Now it's mechanical, it's quick to be done.
Now I'm like almost comfortable in here.
That's where we wanted to go. And now, if you want to, you can press the starter button for the first time, which gives you
But I need to press the brake pedal?
You can press the brake pedal, and then you would get it all the way up. If you don't press it, we get on ignition 1. So
yeah,
that's
we just
what
have
should do.
ignition 1.
Exactly. So there it goes.
Yes.
And then we've got the displays coming up. You hear that noise already?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a hybrid car.
Yeah.
So this is number 1. So it's just setting up. If you press it a second time right now, the same button, then suddenly not just the displays come up, and all the checks of the functions come up, but as well the steering wheel comes alive. So what you find down here, some buttons you're used to in an AMG car,
definitely,
but the functions are totally different.
Yeah.
So this steering wheel, you've got the LEDs, like the shifting lights, which you need, which you don't need any view to this. You just concentrate on the road, and this is going to give you the indication when to press the buttons, the pedals behind the wheel.
Yes.
So if you want to press the pedals behind the wheel, you're coming from a Mercedes-AMG, just hear that clicking noise now. Just shift up.
Yeah. You want me to do it now?
Yeah.
Oh.
It is so much different, huh?
Yeah, this is cool.
So that's like in a race car. So you've got magnets behind it. So that's like a real, a good touch point, a good feeling, especially if you're on a racetrack. You go to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, where you have elevations and bumps and all that stuff. So you want a real precision, a real feeling for it. Exactly. So that's what you get. As you know, the race cars, the typical position on the steering wheel is 3 and 9 o'clock positions. So that's what you get. Yeah. It's basically 2 handles, not a steering wheel. It's
no.
2 handles to be used. Exactly.
Yeah.
All the buttons up here, and there it comes alive really much. So of course, you've got something to tell the guys in front of you that they should move. Yeah, exactly. So this is like a typical flasher you get from the race car. So you could put it on high beam, of course, but you could flash somebody as well. Then we've got the DRS system, which is called the drag reduction system. I guess everyone who's watching the Formula One knows what it does. Then we've got this button right here. It's covered, so that's a neutral. So you don't have a lever in the center console or anywhere, which you know from other cars or from the AMG cars behind the steering wheel. So this all happens pretty much right here through the pedals, as well as the neutral button right here. And then we've got the pass button, which gives you, depending on the driving program you are, some more power. So if you want to pass someone.
And nobody who bought this car ever needed that one.
Maybe. So for the collectors, we can still go through it. We haven't finished yet. On the left-hand side and the right-hand side, you see exactly what you find in any of our AMG road-going cars. So you can navigate yourself through the different kind of displays. On the right-hand side is even touch display, so you wouldn't even need it. You can be on the phone in the car. You could use the pit speed limiter right here. So there's various functions on the same buttons you are used to, which are slightly different. Then we go to this part. It gets even more complex because there you can shift through the different kind of settings, like here, for example, through the AMG dynamics, the sound, the suspension system, gearbox manual, and you can put some sort of favorites down there. On the right-hand side, this is which is giving you the different kind of driving modes. And
this one is R, which is on, is not because I'm in reverse.
And now this R is for race safe RS.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So race safe is pretty much the basic program you would drive that car with. Of course, you can drive fully electric. And there's even a more racy version of the setup. So that would be the 3 highway modes, which we can use. And there's 2 additional modes for the track. So if you want to shift to the track, it's not road legal anymore because it lowers the car, pumps up the big rear wing, and the louvers come up, and like aerodynamics are getting ready. So that is what you would do with this lever. So behind that, there's even more things. It gets even more complex. Just imagine you're driving this car in a hybrid mode. So the car knows exactly what to do. So like in any of our AMG hybrid cars, it knows through all the sensors what you want to do. Even the sat-nav and the weather and all that stuff is taken into consideration before the car does anything for you. You don't have to understand it, but you just use it for your own benefits. In this car, just imagine you've got the battery, you've got the electric motors, you've got a fully electrified front axle, so it's a front-wheel drive if you want so, fully electric. And you've got, of course, a combustion engine with all the electric stuff we put into it. So you can drive it in combination, or you can drive fully electric. So while you're driving fully electric, sometimes you wouldn't even recognize we have a speed follow mode, which is more like a range extender through a race engine. Just imagine you want to recharge the batteries. So you can, the best way, the most sustainable way, of course, is always put the cable in while the car stands still, so you start off with a 100% full battery. Once you're driving it and the hybrid system detects that your battery level is going low, it wants more capacity in the battery. So you're still driving, that car is driving with a combustion engine, but there's the energy flow setting you can see on the screens actually, where you find out, there's no power coming from the from the combustion engine to the wheels. So this is basically the most expensive range extender you've ever heard of. Because it's going to give you the acoustic feeling that it's still using the combustion engine, but basically it's just recharging the battery while you're driving full electric. So it sounds like a combustion engine is driving the car. But the clutch is open.
It works, but there's no ignition on it.
There's ignition on it. You can hear it, but the clutch is opened. So the drivetrain is not engaged.
So just charging battery.
Exactly. It's just a battery charger, right?
Nobody wants a front-wheel drive experience in this car.
Well, we had a German rally championship winner, which is called Walter Roll, and he said like a front-wheel drive is witchcraft.
Totally.
But he meant that more in a dynamic kind of view.
And he was driving Audi Quattro back in the days. Right?
Exactly. So you see, this is very complex to be used if you want to go into the track settings as well. There's different kind of ways, like a Strat 2 mode, which is like a qualifying mode, for example, which Lewis Hamilton would be using, or George Russell would be using on the racetrack for a quick lap, or maybe 2 laps on a Grand Prix track. But therefore, you really have to push the car, because if you don't push, you're a race driver, you know what I mean. If you don't push, it's got too much energy into the battery. And once the battery's full, it's going to cut the engine. And then you're driving you're on your qualifying lap, and suddenly you're driving full electric. So the car is telling you you're not pushing enough. So this is exactly what you get. And for our customers, this is complex. Like Lewis Hamilton's got a race engineer. Before this car would get started, you are doing it with one finger later. Lewis Hamilton has got like 4 engineers with all the laptops to prepare the car and the temperature and all the components before he could start. Then we've got a full team in Brixworth and Brackley, actually, where the Formula 1 team is. While the 2 cars are on track, there's pretty much 2 other engine or drivetrains which are run on the testing department at the same time. So there's a number of people which are controlling all the temperatures and everything, which is done with a strategy. While you yourself might have forgotten some of the details already I explained on the steering wheel. And
Yeah,
you're a collector, so you drive this once in a while.
Yeah.
So we came up with an app, which is a very exclusive app, because there's just 275 people using this app. This is giving you understanding, again, of what to do with this car. So it's like a manual, a driver's manual for all the stuff you can do with this car.
But this is crazy, because 275 people is owning a car like this. Do they ever like make money? Do you know what I mean? Or is it just like hold my beer Ferrari thing?
So of course, as a company, you always want to make money on things. But this thing is like, it really comes from the heart, right?
Yeah.
So we've dominated a decade of Formula One with a concept starting with Curse and all the units we built with our drivers, and Lewis Hamilton be a multiple world champion. So this was something which came from the heart. And Mercedes-AMG said like, okay, we have been known from the history that we made the impossible possible. So let's just do it again.
Yeah, let's just do it. Right. Yeah, because if you go to the financial department down at Mercedes, I'm not sure they would say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Make some EQAs.
I mean, like in the end, it's all coming together. Like the whole marketing and all the stuff they've implemented into Formula One cars and the technology we are now using in a C63, for example. Yeah. We've got the battery pack, which is direct cooling, which all came into
but actually I've heard about that because I have a lot to do with Toyota. This is a little bit different, but still with the GR.
Yeah.
So Yaris, they go on racing. Yes. When it works, we use it on the normal Yaris.
Yeah, excellent.
It's the same here.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Well, that's where we actually come from in motorsports. Like this, all the cars we know today, if it's like steering wheels with all the buttons on it, that came from Formula One. We've got ABS, we've got so many technical solutions, and this is just another step. Yeah. But this is the pinnacle of what you can actually do with it. Yeah.
Should we go take a look at the engine?
Do you want to?
Yeah, I would love to.
Shall I help you out? Or?
No, it's fine. I think, but I'm comfortable. I think I'm gonna stay in here.
Yeah, sounds good. I can come back in 10 minutes if you like.
This is my new car.
Oh yeah. All right, I'll let you climb out of this car.
Yeah, please. And I'll give you. You want the key just?
Yeah, if you put the ignition off again, I'll just do it like this. Perfect.
I have one question before we take a look at the engine. The gearbox.
Yes.
Is what?
There would be several kind of ways which you can expect from a supercar or a car with lots of horsepower. There might be a double clutch transmission in it. There might be a sequential gearbox, which is like more the racing kind of stuff with a straight teeth and so on, which is like noisy. None of that was something we wanted to implement to that car because first of all the power, we talked about more than 1,000 horsepower. And lots of torque, of course, you want to put onto the gearbox, which is not possible with a double clutch transmission.
No,
well,
it's not easy.
It would be in theory, but you have to have components which are bulletproof, and that adds so much weight to this car that we didn't want that. No. Sequential gearbox, I mentioned a customer, and she got into the car, pressed the button, and drove away. Yeah. So you don't want a clutch. You don't want a racing clutch where you need like 80 kilos to press it down or something. No. You want it to be very convenient to drive, right? Yeah. So the option we came up with was an automated manual transmission, pretty much. Okay. It's like you put in the gears, but the system does it for you. Okay. So you've got clutch system for.
So it actually has like a kind of a manual gearbox.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's a manual gearbox, but you operate it through the pedals, right?
So Mercedes actually made that back in 2003 with the sprint shift for the Sprinter. That was really bad. I hope it's got a little bit better.
Well, there's a bit of time going through it.
22 years does something.
And remember, there was High Performance Powertrain, the company working on that. So they won't know what they're doing. So basically, this is a customer's car. And there's so much technology in it. And just coming back from that, and what we've done with the customers throughout the years as well, well, we had planned to bring that car to the market much earlier, so it took much more time. So for some of the customers, it was a real pain. We're really sorry for that. But we have really underestimated how much time it would take for homologation, all the different several markets, right? So crazy. And to set it up. Yeah. So what we wanted, like what you expect from a Mercedes-Benz or a Mercedes-AMG, you want a car which is reliable, which is good fun to drive, which is a good thing for your everyday drive. So we've guided our customers pretty much before the delivery of their cars throughout the years to invite them to the racetracks, for example, to get the newest information from development, to meet Lewis Hamilton, for example, to take a spin with one of these pre-production cars, to really feel it. Yeah. So to give them understanding as well, because you know, with all the sensors in that car, it's the most complex car you can buy. Yeah. There's nothing. This is like rocket science. It really is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And you don't have a racing team.
Where that sentence fits in.
Yeah.
This is rocket science.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And
yeah.
the cool thing is you just drive it and then you wouldn't even appreciate it. You would appreciate it when you come from a point of view where you say this is a Formula One car, and you know Formula One, there's like a racing team there preparing everything, screening everything, telemetry, checking that everything is working right.
Yeah.
You don't have that on the road, right?
No.
So we've implemented that into the computer pretty much, the ECU, with all the sensors we have.
Yeah.
So if there's anything going on, like a temperature, anything where the car says, I'm not quite sure if this is going the wrong direction, you're going to get a message on the display asking you to maybe stop, maybe check something, or read it out, whatever. Because what we don't want is a drivetrain, which is a high percentage of the price of that car to break because of a malfunction or because of
you gave
treating it the wrong kind of way, right?
Makes sense.
You know what I'm trying to say. So this is giving our customers throughout the years the respect for the technology which is in it. It's not just a car.
No.
It is so much more.
Let's take a look at the engine, shouldn't we?
So what you would expect right here would be something to open up like this. We're coming from a motorsports background. So actually what we have right here is two panels.
Yes.
And once the door is open, of course only then, I've got the key and I unlocked it. We've got this little lever right here. Sorry, it's right here. There we go. And then I can take this thing off from this direction.
Okay,
and then take it off like this. Exactly, and then we've got this thing right here, which we have to actually take away. I don't know why that was
like
put
this,
in.
Right?
Yeah, we can take the upper one actually.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe we should prepare that. Okay, that's right. Thank you for your help.
Of course.
Okay,
Very good.
And then I'll take it away.
This is so crazy.
Get it out. I'll take it away.
Yes. Wow. So this is a 1.6 V6.
So just looking at that, you can see catalytic converters, you can see a fan down here to cool all that, because of course the biggest enemy for any electronics is heat.
Of course.
So that's what you want to get rid of in this car.
But it's so compact. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
The maintenance must be impossible on this car.
It's actually...
It's okay.
The standard things, of course, it takes some time. You always have two people servicing a car. It's not a single man's job, pretty much.
No.
And it takes some days to do it.
Yeah.
Like with everything you do.
But they take the engine out.
No, you wouldn't. No, it's just a standard service. Like it's liquids, it's oil, it's all the components which might be used within 5,000 kilometers or 1 year. And the rest is going to be done by the flying doctors. So if there's anything major to be done, we got the pros which are flying out straight from headquarters.
What I love the most about this car right now is that it's not easy to explain on the video. It smells like a race car.
It's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it is a race car. You come here, and it's enjoying a car with all your senses, right?
Because normal cars for road. There's nothing, you know.
That's different, So it's all covered. Yeah, exactly. In here, it's like really, it is open, and you get that smell as well, even if the panels are on it.
So Matthias, now we've been talking a lot about this fantastic car. What I would love to hear right now is the sound of it.
I can imagine you do. So it comes along with a couple of things.
Yes.
First of all, getting into the car, like I mentioned already, we need to preheat the car. I can start the engine in different kind of ways, but I want to show you something else as well, because we have been talking about the track setup of the car, right? The track mode.
Yes.
So that would implement a couple of modifications to that car.
Yeah.
Which you guys will then see. So it's going to be turning into a beast. So that's going to be something I'm going to talk you through.
Yeah.
While you can be standing there and seeing what's going to happen.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
So I'll take my shoes off, get into the car, put my foot on the brake.
I'm like a kid.
And start it all the way. So what I'm seeing right now on the display is that it comes right in. So the car comes in. If you want to film up closely, what you can see here is that it tells me it's preheating. So that is the catalytic converters. So it's now in a model which is called race safe. So even though you don't hear the engine right now, it says that it's ready. So up here it says ready.
Yes.
That's where the ref counter is, which goes up to 11,000 RPM. Now we're in race safe mode.
Yeah.
So I can put this to the left where it says EV. So that's the electric mode, pretty much, if you want so. And then we've got this.
1.6 V6. Sounds so strange, this car.
Right. So do you want me to put it in track mode right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what I do.
Go to track mode now.
So I'm going to put it to the next level, where I have to go on brakes and now press the button right here. So it starts to pump up, it starts revving.
I just said I had 2 things, but I actually have 3 things. The first part is that this car should be running in track mode all the time.
Yeah, it looks so much better. Huh?
Yeah, so much better. Because when you just fire it up, it's like, what?
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound like a V6.
Nah.
It sounds wrong. You know, not wrong, but you know what I mean?
Different, right?
Yeah, different.
I can tell you the story when I got the first contact with that car. The engineer set me into that car and said like, okay, introduced me to all the technology of that state. So like, okay, now you can press a button and now you can, like I showed you, you can put it into the track mode pretty much, which requires starting the engine, for example. And I was immediately pressing the button and looking at them, thinking
what
like, okay,
went wrong?
I mean, you heard it, but once you're right here, if you remember the sound of an old Ducati motorbike or something, where you have some metallic sound.
It sounds like it's about to explode all the time.
Yeah, it's like it's so different from anything else I've ever heard before. So I can just totally understand what you think.
Did you start? I'm not a complete idiot, but what happened?
Yeah, exactly. So
but then when we went to the real mode, it's perfect.
Yeah.
That's one thing, and the exhaust temperature is crazy.
Yes.
Wow, so hot.
It is like a sauna, right?
Yeah.
You remember when I talked about it, how you get it started even while the battery is full? So that is exactly what we do. We're preheating the 6 catalytic converters, and that is up to 500 degrees, and that's exactly what you feel at the back of the car.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You can bring marshmallows next time if you want to.
Yeah, try to park a little bit too close behind that car.
It's good in the winter though.
Yeah, definitely, And the last part is, which is maybe the most cool thing about this car, you have parking sensors all over.
Yes.
I just saw it now.
Yeah.
You were talking about cameras, but I didn't see. They have parking sensors.
Usability.
Mercedes,
it's an everyday car if you want to.
Yeah.
Not in that state.
So crazy.
But you said you liked the looks before already.
Yeah.
And it's even good to hear that you like it even better like this.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's such a crazy. Mercedes, this has been a crazy experience. I've become much wiser about the Mercedes ONE, which it was easy because I knew 0 about it when I came.
Yeah.
Now not a lot more, and now you have contacts, so just call me when you need
a driver for this car.
Yeah.
And a good drifter as well.
Yeah, definitely, It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was a great invitation from Heine Hassel and you. Great to meet you guys.
Our spectators can follow you on Instagram, and it's called...
They want to. Yeah, they will find me.
No, Matt.
Matt about cars if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. We'll write a link in here. Thank you so much for...
Thank you guys. See you next time.
For stopping by. Take care. Bye.